This is the second part to our lesson on the distributive property. If you remember, the distributive property is used when we have a number outside of parentheses being multiplied with all the terms inside of a parentheses. And remember, when I say all the terms, I mean all of them. Whatever outside the parentheses is multiplied with everything that's inside the parentheses. Think about it in terms of baking. If you've ever baked cookies before. Let's say you're wanting to bake cookies. And for your recipe, you need 1 cup of flour and 2 eggs to make 12 cookies. You need a lot more than flour and eggs to make cookies, but let's just say that that's what we're focusing on right now. But that makes 12 cookies. But instead of 12, you want to make 24 cookies. So you need to double the recipe. You need to times it by 2. Okay. Well, does that mean you only times by 2 the cup of flour? So instead of 1 cup, you use 2 cups to double the recipe? No, you have to double everything or else it's going to get messed up. Okay. So I need 2 cups of flour, but I also need 4 eggs because that's double the 2 eggs. You should remember this when you're distributing using the distributive property. Okay? You need to double everything. Everything inside of the recipe, everything inside of the parentheses needs to get multiplied by whatever outside of the parentheses. All right, let's look at some more examples of the distributive property to make sure we're really comfortable with it and we know what we're doing here. So to review the distributive property, whatever's on the outside of the parentheses, you take that multiplied with everything that's on the inside of the parentheses. Okay. So this is this parentheses mean multiplication, and what's on the outside gets multiplied with everything on the inside. So if I have 5 here, I'm going to take 5 times x, and 5 times 9. Oops, let me go back, explain that. 5 times 9, a little more consistency there. And then 5 times x is just 5x, and 5 times 9 is 45. And then that's my final answer. And remember, those aren't like terms. Those aren't like terms, so I can't combine them. G, 5 times negative 4x plus 14. Okay? So here's an example where we really want to pay attention to our signs because we have that negative there. Okay? So I'm taking 5 times negative 4x and 5 times 14. So remember we talked last time that when you're multiplying a number times a number in a variable, you can just multiply those constants, okay, the numbers together, the coefficients. So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. So 5 times negative 4x is negative 20x. Okay? Remember, 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Okay? And if you aren't sure of the negative, make sure to use your calculator. And then 5 times 14 is 70. So this would be my final answer. Nothing more I can combine there. So make sure to pay attention to your signs here, and when multiplying the numbers with a number and a variable, you can just multiply the numbers together. H, we have 3 times 5a minus 1, so that's 3 times 5a, okay? That's 15a, because 3 times 5 is 15, minus 3 times 1 is 3, so 15a minus 3. So that's how we're simplifying that expression using the distributive property. The 3 gets distributed to the 5a and to the 1. Let's do a couple more. We're trying to get really good at it. We want this to be something that's like automatic, that when we see this, we can just do it real quick. So we have 2 times x and 2 times 1. 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 1 is 2. Now you notice my sign was minus, so it's still minus. That is your final answer. Let's do one more. 3 times x plus 9. Okay, so I'm taking 3 times everything inside the parentheses. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 9 is 27. So 3x plus 27. Okay? So this is the simplified form of 3 times x plus 9. Okay, so when using the distributive property, we're trying to simplify an expression that looks like this, where we have a number multiplied with something in parentheses, and trying to get rid of those parentheses, okay, by multiplying that 3 through. We distribute that 3 through, and so this is what it simplifies down to, is 3x plus 27. Okay, we've combined everything that we can using the distributive property. The distributive property is something we will use a lot in algebra. It will help us simplify expressions and solve equations. You will see it distributed throughout much of what we do in this course.